Hey, this is Riko from 40K Amateur Hour. I've got another video for Crazy Terrain. It's kind of a two-parter. We're doing some industrial terrain, some really fun stuff for some good setups for 40K or other games that you may be playing. Be in some areas of industrial complex, machinery, things of that sort. So watch it. Hope you enjoy it. Look for part 2 coming up here pretty quickly. So hey, enjoy Crazy Terrain. Alright, welcome to 40K Amateur Hours Crazy Terrain. I'm Riko. I've got a couple of things. This is going to be kind of a part 1 for some industrial terrain. Putting out some things to make it look like you're working through some industrial complexes or whatnot of that sort. So today we're going to do kind of just a small piece, more of a kind of a center area that allows just for some good looks. When I find things, I look at junk and find different things, and I pick them up and say, hey, that would make some cool looking terrain. Well, my kids bought a cord to go to their video game component, saw that and said, hey, that's something I can use. So we're going to use this today as part of our industrial terrain. First of all, I don't want the walls around it. I just kind of want it to be a flat piece. So I'm just taking a knife and I'm going to be cutting it out so that I can have just a flat piece and kind of get rid of the walls around it. Now the plans for that is we want to be able to make it a little bit more sturdy. So we're going to be mounting it on just some foam core that I have. We'll cut it in a bit to fit better. So let's look at how we want this to be placed. And we get our super glue. And just dip along these edges that we just cut. Alright, let's place that down. Position kind of where we'd like it. And if you want to accelerate it a little bit, put in some zip ticker, some accelerant. So to go a little bit faster there. Alright, now this had some kind of open ends here. So I thought it looked like it needed something to kind of dump into or come from. So I got some film canisters. Now, if you're not old enough, you may not even know what these are. But a lot of times if you go to your big box store or somewhere that still does film, you can ask them, say, hey, I'm doing a project, can I have your film canisters? And they'll usually just hand them right to you. So I collect those as often as I can and still try to get a few. So I'm going to put those on the end as kind of some containers. As if they're helping empty into different things. Get those glued down. Now on this end, these things are kind of come along each side. I found this piece, it's a part of a door from the vehicle. I'm just going to use that as part of my end piece because I kind of liked how it looked. Get that glued in. And then these are just super glue lids. I probably keep the super glue companies in business. I glue those on the end here, some end caps. Alright, now there's a few other things I want to put on there. As I went through my bits, I keep, like I said, all sorts of junk. This right here is out of a soy sauce bottle. Kind of like the looks of it. Kind of had an industrial feel to it. So as we were using up the last of soy sauce, I took that out. I decided to use that as part of the terrain here.
And I thought that it might be kind of cool to have some pipage going from some of these. So I decided to use some bendy straws or some simple straws that you can get. And trying to cut them to length here. We can get them glued on between these two as well. It's got to be better to make some shorter cuts so you end up, there we go, getting it to be able to fit in between those. Alright, get those glued on, have some pipe. Through there. Alright, almost done with this one. Like I said, this is a simple one. Part 1 of Industrial. I'll show you some other more intricate ones, but I just like this one. And so we're going to get a few more little bits here that we have. Kind of have an industrial fill and parts of, just to give it some dimensions on it. Alright, we're going to then spray paint it up, and I'll show you what happens after that. Alright, we're going to spray paint this. I got it in my paint tray. I've got some flat black and some silver. We're going to do flat black base and then dust it over with some silver. I'm going to spray it, and I'll bring it back in and show you what it looks like when I'm done spraying. Alright, we just came back from dusting it lightly. We have now black undercoat and a silver kind of quick dusting. We're going to let that dry, going to add some details, maybe glue on a few more bits and some pieces, and I'll show you how that goes. Alright, it's all dry now and we're ready to move on. Now, as I said, crazy terrain is something that we do. It's crazy. It's fast, it's quick, it's cheap. I know there's a lot of different ways. I've made some very intricate and higher, I guess, quality, you could say, terrain in a lot of different areas and for different venues. You can do molds and all sorts of things. I'm showing you in crazy terrain basically that, crazy terrain. Stuff that you can make from anything that you can find around the house. And let me just show you real quick. This is in the dungeon. We have a spot here that this is Crazy Terrain Central. These drawers right here are literally filled with just junk that I have collected and grabbed from anything people bring me. I find when people are getting ready to throw stuff away. There are 3 drawers just completely, as you can see, it falls out, completely full of just stuff. Lids, bottles, bits and pieces, different things, ink containers from computer ink, printers, all sorts of stuff is just there. That is what we make terrain out of on Crazy Terrain. Nothing really big to buy, no big expenses. So yeah, you're gonna see this and say, wow, but that's exactly it. That's what we're doing. So simple stuff. We're gonna now go and finish this one up. All right. So we're gonna show you a couple things. I wanted to add a little bit of color to this. So I went and I just got some decals leftover from vehicles, things of that sort. So I'm going to put a few of these decals on. Then we're going to paint it up a little bit and show you some different things with the paint. I go through and add some details onto it, get it all ready and make it table ready in just a few minutes. So if you have extra decals, extra bits, anything that you want to throw in on this stuff, I'm going to show you some other ones and then post them on the Facebook page here in a little while about some other industrial things that I like to use, and some of my favorite ones to make are just taking a bunch of bits and just gluing them together, getting them painted up and making them look like some pretty cool industrial machinery or generators of some sort, and be able to put them on the table and just use them as different types. The fun thing about these are you can use them to give you like a 5-up cover save or something of that sort,
If you get shot at, you can have different rules, house rules or whatever you may want to use, that they can be blown up, or they can be objectives that you try to get. They can actually blow up if they get shot and hurt people that are taking cover. I just find them as fun and kind of interesting to use. So we're going to be putting on basically just some of the, as I said, leftover decals from the vehicles that we have. So we have some hazard things here telling us, hey, this is a dangerous place, be careful. Of course, when you're running through with your troops, you could even make it some type of hazardous terrain that it could be electrocuted or some sorts. Just all sorts of fun things. I like this type of terrain just because it's fun. So I'm going to get it done up a little bit, add some more of these different decals and some stuff, and I'll show you here in just a minute what it looks like. Okay, we're still putting on a couple more. Like I said, just going to show you a little bit kind of how we're just going along and detailing it up as we go. Kind of adding some color and some detail to it. I'll slide this specifically in here. Okay. It's gaining a little bit more color, looking a little bit more defined here, and getting it how I kind of wanted to look when we're done here. Okay, a little bit more work and I'll show you the progress. Alright, I got the last of the decals on there. Kind of show you a little bit what we got so I have a little bit of color. Now I'm going to do a little bit of paint. Just going to add just a few more touches here and there of some things that I thought might look good. So just do a little bit of touch up with some paints. And fill in a few spots that I thought could use extra touch, a little flare. Not a whole lot, just a little bit of extra here and there, kind of add some extra color to it. A couple of spots just to make it pop out a little bit more. I think most of it we got pretty good with the decals. Just wanted to add a few extra areas. Now I'm going to do one last little bit, I think, with some rust. Kind of rust it out a little bit, make it look like it is a bit old. And then we're pretty much done. And this piece will be ready to be on the table for another 40K battle or whatever game you may be playing. Or you're in some type of industrial and need that look. So we're just going to use a little bit of rust look here, and I just like to add a little rust. Kind of drip down a little bit. I know you can see that a little bit. That little look in there, so I'm going to do that around some of the areas so it's not so shiny and new. Just get a little rust on there, definitely around these pipes areas.
going around. Maybe a little bit around some of these pipe areas to kind of make it just. Alright, so we have, out of just some junk that we found around the house, and a piece of industrial terrain. As I said, you can come up with some house rules or whatever you want to fill on that. There you go. That's my next one. That's part 1. Industrial, crazy terrain. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.